How to get ahead in A-level when you are in year 12. Now, if you want me to make one for year 13 and university, put it down in the comments and I will do that. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing to you 4 steps that you can do so you can get ahead when you're doing year 12, your A-levels. So I've written this here, but what I want to say something is I want to make sure that we're all on the same page before I go through this, which is this. Just because you got your A stars in GCSE, just because you got your 9s, and by the way, well done if you have, don't be thinking that you're going to get A star in A-level, okay? A-level is a complete different game to GCSE. And if you think that, oh, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did in GCSE with A-level, you're delusional. It's not going to work. You have to change the strategy. It's a different strategic game, should I say, compared to GCSE. Because also the subjects that you're going to be doing in A-level is a lot more in-depth. There's a lot more theory. There's a lot more understanding that is required of you to do it. Whereas with GCSE, you can kind of wing it, if that makes sense, because there's certain things you can just memorize and just kind of repeat that and write it again, right? A-levels, you can't do that. University, you can't do that. So you have to understand what game you're going into right now, which is, okay, I'm going into A-levels. It's a completely different game, which means my strategy has to change. The way I learn has to change. So just bear that in mind when I go through this, because I don't want people to kind of think that they're going to do the same thing. And I guarantee, well, let me say this, right? I know students that got A stars and then did not get the grades in A-level because they got too complacent. They thought they would just leave everything last minute and they completely flopped. Okay, that's a fact. So you don't want to be in that position and you want to make sure that you are ahead in this game. So if we go through the first one, organized timetable. Now you're starting year 12, cool, right? You might say, okay, why do I need a timetable? Well, listen, you're going to have a lot of things coming at you from left and right, especially if you're doing 4 A-level subjects. You're going to have a lot of theory, a lot of things that you have to learn. The worst thing that you can do is leave everything last minute and do everything like cramming it in 1 month. I see all these people saying, try and cram this and cram that. Listen, you're losing. You're going to lose a battle, especially with A-levels. You can't do that, right? So if you have a timetable, create a timetable. Monday, I'm going to do maths. Tuesday, I'm going to do biology. Wednesday, I'm going to do physics. And spend at least 2 hours each day going over through the theory that you went through in school, because you are going to forget so much so quickly because there's going to be so much theory coming in. So what you want to do is you want to go through your notes, go through the revision, try and understand what the theory is, try and understand, okay, today I learned, for example, I don't know, quadratic equations in maths, right? Okay, so what is quadratic equations? Let me go through it. Let me draw the graphs. Let me understand how it works. Let me go through an example and then let me do questions. This is how you do it, because if you do that now, it registers in your mind so that when you do come to the point of revising, it's not going to be all new. You're going to have it in your mind. You just need to, allocate that and get that from there, right? Because you've done it before. So create a timetable. And when I say timetable, man, like, listen, like, you don't need to be doing crazy 5-6 hours. If these people are telling you that, don't listen to them. 2-3 hours is enough. You don't even need 3 hours, especially if you start now. 2-3 hours, like every day, Monday to Friday, it's enough, because that means when it comes to revision time, you're not going to be stressed. So this is why timetable is important. Now, the second one is ask for help and not last minute. So what I mean ask for help is, you're going to see there's going to be a lot of things that you don't understand, right? There's going to be things that is new to you, new topics, new theory that you're not understanding. And what a lot of people do is they leave everything last minute and they don't ask for help. My friend, if you don't, the way to look at it is this way. If there is a problem, okay, and that problem has not been solved and you're putting that under the carpet, for example, or you're just not solving that problem is still going to come back. Does that make sense? That problem is still going to come back because you have not solved the problem. So what a lot of people do is when they don't understand something, they don't ask for help. They think, oh, you know what? I'll just do it after. I'll just do it when it comes to revision time. You lost. Because if you're not able to understand this now, what makes you think you're going to understand it when it's even more pressured, when you have more anxiety, when you have more stress because exams are coming nearer? Why don't you understand it? Why should you not understand it now? Why can't you ask for help now? So it's very important to ask for help, because any little thing that you don't understand, it's going to help you understand the other topic. You see, with A-levels, it's a progressive subject, which means that the things that you're learning now, the topics, the other topics further down the line is going to use up topics that you learned previously, if that makes sense, right? So if you don't understand these topics now, when you go and do the other topics, it's going to falter. It's not going to work because you don't even understand the basics, or you don't even understand certain topics that is required of you to understand so that you can do the other topics. I hope that makes sense, right? So what I'm saying to you is, if you don't understand something, ask for help. Now, how do I ask for help? Okay, ask your teacher. Go ask your teacher or ask your tutor, right? Ask if you're going for tutoring, ask your tutor. So see, if I'm me, I teach maths. If people don't understand, they ask me and I answer them. Very simple, right? And I always say this to my students, like, listen, if you don't understand something, you need to tell me, because if you don't tell me, I don't know that you don't understand. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. I always ask for help all the time, but you got to make sure that you address the issue. If there's anything you don't understand, get it sorted now. The third one is practice questions early. So what I mean by practice questions early is, so say you've done a topic, a chapter, right? Go and practice some exam questions straight away for that chapter, for that topic. So go, on Google, and whether you're doing Excel, OCR, and get some exam questions for that topic. Why? Because what that does is it'll give you some confidence after learning the theory and say, okay, I've just done these exam questions. It was a bit hard at the beginning, but I'm starting to understand. And you're doing this so early in the process. Can you see how many steps you're ahead already? You're not even doing this like next year, you're already doing it. So each chapter that you do, start doing some questions, exam questions. So obviously first practice the questions, and once you've done that, go into exam questions and get a feel for it. Because when you get a feel for the exam questions, you feel more confident. Like, even if you don't understand it, you still have so much time to learn, right? But you're not learning from a perspective of, you're so much under pressure. You're learning from where you have time and you can really understand what the exam question is asking. So what I would say is, once you finish the chapters in your A-levels, like the topics, go and practice these questions. And the fourth one is start researching on degrees. So when I say start researching on degrees is, listen, a lot of us, even myself included, I remember, like, I did not even know what degree I wanted to do until the last minute of where I had to write my personal statement and send it to UCAS. You don't want to do that, okay? You want to have an understanding of, okay, these are the different types of degrees and this is the type of degree that I would like to do. Don't leave it last minute, because when you leave it last minute, your choice that you make will be defined more by pressure and what other people say as opposed to what you want. So when you want to do a degree, research. How do you research? Go to the different universities on the website and see, okay, for example, I don't know, because I did electronic and electrical engineering. So I will go, okay, search electronic electrical engineering, and then I'll go on the university, okay, and I'll look at the content. They will show you the content. They will say, first year, this is what you're going to study. Second year, this is what you're going to study. Third year, this is what you're going to study. And then you can take a look and do a bit of research on it, right? And if that's not something that you like, then you can look at your other degrees. So when I say research your degrees, in a practical way, okay, write 5 degrees, write a list of 5 degrees that might interest you. It doesn't matter, don't worry about it, just write 5 degrees and then do research on that. Start researching it, because when you're leaving everything last minute, you are going to regret the decision of thinking that I could have done more research and I could have done more, reading around those degrees before making a decision, because on impulsive decision, right? Because I didn't have time. You don't want to be in that position. Don't make that mistake that I did, right? So when you research the degrees, take your time, go through the university. You can even ask prospective students or other students or even your teachers, right? There's so much research out there. There's so much resources out there that you can do. But and I'm not saying this, or I'm not saying that you have to figure out your degree right now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is research and look at the different types of degrees. And once you get a feel for it, then you have a better idea, and then you have more of a leg to stand on which kind of field you want to get into. So these were the 4 steps that you can do to get ahead in A-level for year 12. If this video has helped you out, give this video a big thumbs up. Would really appreciate it. And remember this, everything starts from 0. When are you going to start? Peace.